Are you? You're crying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Love it.
And I kept staring at this pink Bible that was in the room with us. And she like looks at me and she's like, "Can I pray with you?" And I was like, "Yes."
A couple months ago, I was standing outside of Aldi's praying with this lady and holding her babies.
I pray that when they come, they leave and they feel the love from Jesus Christ.
If you need a hug that night, come find me. I'm a hugger.
This girl was dealing with, like, I remember specifically like infertility, and it's just like she will have a baby next Worthy.
I think he's brought each and every person here that he wanted to be a part of this conference for every woman that's going to come through these doors.
Hey, you worthy girl, it's Kayla Barlow here, and you are on Girl, You Are So Worthy podcast. And today I have some of my very best friends with me today. I actually, you guys can introduce yourselves.
Oh,
Hey,
okay.
go, girl.
Ashley
You
Clayton.
worthy girl.
Ashley Clayton.
Yay.
Ashley Golden.
Raven Ballard.
Miranda Ross.
Yay! The very worthy girls. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Worthy Conference that's coming up in September, and just talk about how it has blessed us and kind of the vision behind it, and just kind of rock it out tonight. So
Yes, let's go.
going to reflection of a little bit of last year, what were some of your favorite moments from last conference?
Oh, I've got all the favorites. Actually, I'm a little biased because I'm on the worship team, and
Yes.
worship was definitely my
It was
favorite.
fire.
I loved it.
Mhm.
Definitely felt the Holy Spirit in the room for sure.
Yeah, it was so good.
I think my favorite, I was one of the greeters at the front door, and just seeing like all the women from different ages and different walks of life that I know, and then the ones I didn't even know. It's just like, how cool is it that we can all just come and just love on each other and learn about Jesus, and just that was super cool to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I loved like seeing how God showed up in the room and like how much he loved his daughters and everything, and just getting to witness all the girls like leaving encouraged and like on fire for Jesus. Like that was such like a beautiful time.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Well, this is going to be a first for me, so I'm excited for this year.
Yes. It's going to be so good. So good.
Also, those cake pops, they were
Yeah.
popping.
Oh, yeah.
Are we bringing those back this year?
We better.
Okay,
We
guess we
better.
better.
I'd be running to them.
Yeah.
That's too funny. I would say, like, you know, we like poured out so much like into the planning process of this, and then like literally like it was getting real the night before, like Worthy, and then like it was just getting so real like throughout that day, and it was like, you know, an hour before go time, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go home and get changed. And like on my way back, I was just thanking the Lord, and I was driving like a madman trying to get a mad lady, worthy girl, getting back to church. And I just remember like thanking the Lord for the vision that he has given Worthy, and just like, and there was already like people lined up as I was like coming in the back door. There was already people lined up, and I'm just like, Lord, this is you. And it was just like, and it was like go time. And I just like, you know, you pour into like so much planning. And then it's like, it's here, and it's like go time. And just like seeing the anticipation on like all the dream team girls and like how much work they had put into it last year. And then it was like go time. And I remember Debbie Lindell came, and I remember meeting her in the parking lot, and I'm like, this is real. Like this, we're doing this. And it was just like, everything was just like falling into place, and like God was in like every little detail. It was just such a cool experience. So like, I think just like getting it started, and then I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm like hosting this thing. What am I even going to say? I'm like, Lord, you're going to have to like work through me, because like, I don't know, like I've never done this before. And so that was kind of like, it was go time.
Yeah.
Like that was like one of the most exciting, like, you know, you just anticipate, and you didn't know, like this was our first one, and you didn't know like really what to expect and how to like roll it out. And I like had kind of how like I felt like the Lord wanted us to like go, and every little detail, it was just so cool how he like kind of made it happen.
He showed up and showed off for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's so good.
So exciting.
So, yeah, I talked about Debbie a little bit, and Heather. Actually, Heather Gillion was our first speaker, and she wrote the book Dancing on My Ashes. If you haven't read that book, it is so, so good. It's so good. But just like her overall presence, I think, like she is just so, like her spirit is in line with God's spirit. Like you can tell just even in her demeanor coming. She is a painter. She actually is coming this year to do a little worship painting with us. So that's super exciting to be able to have her back because like I said, she's just such a cool being. So like some of the things was like Heather's book was Dancing on My Ashes, and she brought to life like how to find joy in loss.
And
And
like
maybe
the
it's
suffering.
like how can one of us find joy in the loss?
Yeah. I remember that testimony, and I mean, I was weeping because her loss was so significant. And it just reminded me, like, we all experience loss, but just the joy that she got out of that.
Yeah.
And how she finds that, and God gives her that joy every day, even through that. And it's just when someone can speak of that great of a loss and then just still give the rest of the people in the room like a warm feeling.
Yeah.
It's just something you remember. Like I just remember feeling like first, of course, you're sad, but then it's like, oh my gosh, like look how happy she is even through all that. And like God just reminds her every day, like there's joy in everything. And so I don't know, super, super cool. I mean, yes, significant loss, but that testimony really touched me. And I enjoyed it so much. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
So I think we all have loss in our lives. It could be loss of what we had an expectation of what our life was going to look like, loss of something in our childhood. I think anybody and everybody could probably resonate with that.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. I think just looking at her life, Heather's life, that it really speaks to like, I mean, her testimony is living that, you know, God is the bringer of joy. No one can dance on their ashes unless joy is filled from our Creator, I think. And like she truly like represents that, I think.
Yeah.
So then we had Debbie Lindahl from James River Church come. That was super fun. And she talked about love notes. And the one thing that kind of stood out to me is like, no matter who you are, like God has chosen you to do something, like something. And it may be big and it may be small in your eyes, but in God's eyes, it could be something very big too. So tell me about a time that God has chosen you guys, or a time that speaks out to you guys.
Man, I would say that I feel like God like chose me to like be a mother. That's not something that I always necessarily envisioned for myself, but like when he put me in that place, like he's aligned it so beautifully and just paved the path for that and put me in that season.
That's good.
That's so good. Anybody else? God chose you to be on that worship team, that Realove worship.
I mean, yes.
That worthy worship team.
I do love to sing. That's for sure.
You need to give us a note? Dun, 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 dun,
Drop a
dun.
beat, girl.
I don't know. Right. We're going to keep that for worthy night. We're going to.
Okay.
No, but I think, you know, like I work in the medical field, and just there's moments where I just feel like, you know, I'm there for somebody, or I see so many people, and just being able to just, you know, give them words of encouragement or just lift them up in the times that they are needed. I think God chooses me to be in those right times when I need to be there. So, I don't know. I'm new to like all these kinds of words and like him speaking to me directly. And so it's fun, but it's also scary all at the same time.
For sure. Anybody else?
Kind of to go off of Ashes, like, you know, I think when I was younger, you know, I wasn't following the right path, and you know, God has brought us, me and my husband and the kids. We're in church now, and you know, like just seeing how God has opened my eyes to situations that it used to be closed off to. Like, never in a million years would I think I'm gonna walk into this store and God's going to give me somebody. Never in a million years would I thought that 10 plus years ago. But a couple months ago, I was standing outside of Aldi's praying with this lady and holding her babies.
Yes.
That's good.
We'll probably never see her again. I pray that, you know, whatever words I spoke to her, because God gave me those words that day, and he pushed me to that lady. But just like Asha, just the little moments, and it's just like you walk away from it and you're like so thankful for it. Just because it's like, thank you for giving me that opportunity to love on them and speak the words you've given me to them. And you don't know if, you know, how that's going to affect, but you did your part. And so you just hope that they walk away feeling loved and blessed as much as you feel too.
Yeah. Because in those moments, you're like, you really want me to do that? Like, you want me to go there.
Yeah.
And then you do it, and you're just like, wow. Like, he knew. I didn't know. I didn't know today I was going to bless somebody like that. But here I am, and I did. And it's like, okay, I see
But
you,
then
Lord.
I'm receiving that blessing.
And it's so much easier to do it next time.
Yeah.
Because
for
you're
sure.
just like,
you're like, oh, I remember that. I
I'm
remember
doing
that
it.
feeling.
Here I go.
Yeah.
I'm going. So cool.
Miranda, what about you,
Yeah,
girl?
so God chose my husband and I to come to church here.
Yeah.
And now we get to be a part of the Worthy Conference and love on others. And
Love
so,
that.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
Definitely a blessing. Like, you're exactly like what we needed, like here.
Exactly.
Truly.
Yeah.
I think he's
and God
brought
knew.
each and every person here that he wanted to be a part of this conference for every woman that's going to come through these doors.
That's right.
Because he knows who's coming and he knows who can love on them.
Yep.
And he's got it all ready.
Yeah.
What'll
He
be
knows
cool, though,
everything.
is since this is your first Worthy Conference, like, it'll be cool to kind of see or hear, like, how you felt in your first Worthy Conference, like, the blessings that you're going to receive from this conference. Like, that's going to be
So cool.
a really cool
I'm ready.
moment.
I'm excited.
Ready for that testimony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good. So Debbie also talked about one of her points was, I'm with you. Can you guys think of a moment, you know, in time that you knew without a shadow of doubt, like, he was with me through this moment? I think the first thing that comes to my mind is when my baby was in NICU. That's a whole story that we'll share maybe at a different time. But like, the Lord was with us, like with us the entire time, from him being born to the whole week and few days in the NICU. So every moment he was with us, but it was cool.
That's good, because actually what brought us to Realove, our babies were in the NICU, and best friend Natalie, hey Natalie, she, you know, I was raised in church and always, you know, like, you know, prayed at Easter and prayed at Christmas, and it's Jesus's birthday, but man, the waking up and losing self and, you know, more of him, that wasn't my lifestyle. But sorry. You guys prayed over blankets for my babies.
Yeah.
And they're turning 3 next month, and
Amen.
they're healthy and they're perfect. And so that was just that was such a special time that God made me feel that love. So cool things and such. And it seems like it was yesterday, but I don't know.
And it was 3 years
It was so
ago.
cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
And you've been growing ever since, girl.
Yes.
Anybody else?
I think, I mean, I feel like looking back on my life, I feel like there's always been moments where I'm just like, maybe not in that moment did I think the Lord was with me in that moment, but my biggest one for sure was probably coming out of a relationship that I thought was what I wanted what I wanted, not what he wanted. But coming out of that relationship and thinking, how am I going to do life? Young kid, got a kid of my own. How am I going to do life by myself? And just, we got back to this church because of my child. And, I don't know how I would even understand, thinking, where's my life? Where would my life be right now if she wouldn't have said, Mom, I think we need to go to that church again. And so here we are. And she's active in the youth group, and I'm on the worship team, and I get to do Life with You Worthy Girls and all the other Worthy Girls. And it's just in those moments that I felt alone and I couldn't go on. He was there.
Yeah. That's good. So good. Anybody else?
Yeah.
So a moment that I felt like God was just speaking to me and was like, I'm right there with you, was when I found out I was pregnant with Everly. I went to Republic Pregnancy Center just to confirm and everything, because I was in denial of everything that was going on in my life. And there was a woman there, and I kept staring at this pink Bible that was in the room with us. And she looks at me and she's like, can I pray with you? And I was like, yes. And I just start sobbing. And from that moment on, God has just continued to pave the path for not only me, but Everly as well.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
That's so good. So good. I think the next thing, in her love notes, it talked about how he is our courage, strength, and help. I think so much of the time we as women, we're like, we don't need help. I don't need help. Yeah. I'm an independent.
We think
woman.
we can do it ourselves.
I won't sing it.
That's too funny. But he is our helper.
Yeah.
He wants us to call out on him. He wants to be our provider. He wants to give us the strength to be the worthy girl that we are.
Yeah.
And so, can you guys think of a time that you're like, he was my helper, he was my strength, he was the courage that I needed?
It's hard to pick a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It
many.
is hard.
I think the time that comes to my mind the most is my son has been an addict. And he gave me the strength and the know and the courage and the stamina to not give up on him and to not quit praying, and now he's on fire for the Lord.
That's awesome.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good. Her last point there was God's love displays his power. Does that speak to anyone?
Yes.
I mean, I think that kind of goes along with, he is always with us.
Yeah.
But his love will show how powerful he is, and he does literally everything in love.
That's right.
So, anybody?
Yeah.
And I think just as a specific time, no, because I think, man, there's just every day I need that. I need more of his power and love, and because we're still humans, and Lord knows that he's given me a stronger brain to mouth filter, and so I still have to pray for that daily, though. I'm human still, and I'm not perfect, but man, his power to just show me the love that I need to show others so they can feel that, because it's our words just can be life-changing. And so what you speak into somebody can just give that thought in their mind, that girl has to have Jesus if she can react like that, or so I think it's just an everyday thing, less of me, more of him. And I have to, girls, I still pray multiple times a day, because my filter is not 100% yet, but I'm getting there.
Yeah.
And with him, I'll get there one day. Not 100%. I ain't perfect. He is, but not me. But
That's so good.
I think his power shows every day.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it's good. Anybody else on that one? then through the night, we went to Words of Knowledge. And for that night, that was actually something new to our church. And I remember the time that like I had told Jonathan when we were planning, you know, Worthy Conference, or I was too scared to call it a conference like the first night or first year, because I'm like, this is just Worthy Night. Like conference seems like that's too scary. Like that's a big world. I was just gonna do a Worthy Night. And this is kind of evolving into conference vibe. But it's still Worthy Night. But I remember the day that like I had told Jonathan, I was like, we were on a walk and I was like, I think like we're gonna do words at Worthy. And he's like, okay. And I said, I don't know how it looks like. He's like, well, we need to start like doing it in service so that way it's not just like off the wall, like our people, our Worthy girls,
what are we doing here? Yeah.
Don't know what we're doing. And I'm just like, okay, well then let's do it. Well then like literally the night before Worthy, we had not like done anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember standing in the lobby of our church. I was literally standing right here and I was like, I was getting a word for a woman that was coming. And I shared it with the team and I was like, this girl is coming. And I remember continuing to pray for this girl. And I got the goosebumps even on my head. But even speaking about it right now, it was just, it was a girl who she was in a relationship and it was going to be really hard for her to get here. She was being verbally abused, possibly even physically abused. And we needed to stand in the gap for her, to pray for her to get here. And I shared that on Worthy Night from stage. And I was like, I don't know who you are, but God had us praying. We were standing in the gap for you last night. And you are meant to be here and your worth is found in Jesus. Yeah. And like, and I didn't know even that night. And a couple days later, I got a message on Facebook or Instagram or something and said, that was me. Mm-hmm. And I just was like crying all over again. And it was just like, you know, that is so good. And but how it like words kind of, so that was like brought back up to me and I'm like, Lord, we haven't practiced this. We haven't done this. Like I don't know if we're ready. And then that night, we kind of all met here to, you know, pray for all the girls that were here. And I remember going to each of the altars. We were praying over every chair, every like inch of this place, the parking lot. We were literally praying for everything. Mm-hmm. And I remember passing by each altar and the Lord gave specific words on like what women were going to be praying for this situation. And I remember like then the next altar was another, and he's like, this lady will pray right here and I will deliver her right here from this. And then the next one was this girl was dealing with like, I remember specifically like infertility, and it's just like she will have a baby next Worthy. Wow. And I could cry like even thinking about that because we do have a Worthy baby coming. Yeah. But it's just so cool. Every single altar that I passed, I got a specific type of woman that was going to be here. And I felt like that's how we're going to have to roll with this. Like, Lord, I've never done this before, but I will open my mouth, but you need to fill it. Like, you need to work through me. Mm-hmm. And so that night, so then Worthy Night came, and Debbie's like, so what's the plan? Like, let's walk through, like, everything. And I said, I need help. And I said, we're supposed to do words here, and, like, words of knowledge. And she's like, okay, this is good. And I'm like, we've never done it here. And she's like, is your pastor okay with it? And I'm like, yes. And I said, yes. And I said, and I went on to tell her that story, like, this altar is going to be dealing with this type of women. This altar is this and this. And I went through, and we got like 5 or 6 altars up there that women received their healing, their worth.
That's love.
Their babies.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
that's love.
But that's really kind of how like words started. And I'm not kidding you. Like, then there were other words. Savannah also gave some words, and it was just such a cool moment. And like the Lord like really spoke to me like, you don't have to be planned, you just have to be willing. Like, and I will do the rest. And it was just like, and he like revealed that even more so like to me that night.
Like,
and it was just
another reminder, like it's his timing, not ours.
Yeah.
And so that was cool.
Yeah,
That's so true.
and I think like before then, I think like words, like if we would have tried it before, I think it would have been like our own doing, like before in a service. And it was just like, it was that divine moment for it to take off.
Yeah.
And it did, and it has. And ever since then, every Sunday we
Yes.
we
There's
have
been
words.
so many blessings and healing come from words
I think
of
that's
knowledge.
such a beautiful thing that like it blossomed that night and it just continued to grow.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that God's been at it all along.
Yeah, that's so good. And that actually kind of goes into like when you're saying this, I'm like, oh, that does make sense. Just like into next year's theme, you know.
Yeah,
how-
that's true.
And this year, we're blossom flowers.
Yeah. Oh yes,
roses.
this year. It is this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
This year's theme. Sorry.
I was like, "Ooh, she's gonna give a little snake
We
peek."
know what you
No, I
mean.
can't. Girls, don't make me. Oh, that's too funny. But so the words of knowledge, and we actually just finished a book club with
That's good.
some of our worthy girls did a book club on Havilah's book, Created to Hear
Yeah.
God, and I think that is even like pushed us further into our like words and understanding of like, oh yeah, this is how God is speaking to me. And that awareness of he doesn't have the relationship that I have with God and the way I hear God is so different than, you know, the way
personal.
Ashley hears God or somebody else, you know, hears God, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I think that was like the biggest thing. I'm like, I'm not very spiritual because I'm a knower. Like, I'm not like, I don't like Pastor Jonathan could be like crying because like he's a feeler or seer, like, and he is like crying, and I'm like, why are you crying? Like, you know, because that's not really who I am. But anyway, so that's
And he meets us where we are. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how personal he is.
So in our book club, like we wanted to do this book club because we wanted to feel like we were connected, you know, with our speaker that's coming, with just Havilah.
Yes.
So exciting. And so like in that, we were just kind of, or we're continuing to pray, like what type of women are going to be here at, you know, Worthy 24. God, speak to us, show us what type of women are going to be here. And that, like, it really is like those women who are dealing with self-worth. Like that's how like really Worthy was birthed. It was like, and honestly, like I think the Lord puts it on your own heart because that may be something that like I was dealing with. Like, I'm not good enough to be a pastor's wife. I'm not good enough to be a mom of 3. Like, I'm going to fail in all this. I'm not good enough in my job, but in him I am worthy. And that's all I need. Like in him I'm worthy.
Yeah.
So those women that are dealing with self-worth, and just like not feeling enough. I feel like so much of the time we as women, we're always pouring out and we feel so empty on the inside because like we're just pouring out and nothing is pouring in, and we have to seek our provider to have to have that. But
Women that don't feel known or seen. And he's going to show them.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I think too, like even as we're like praying, like we pray every single day at 7:30 for a specific thing that's going to happen at Worthy. And because that like 7:30 is going to be like, we're going to be in the middle of it. Like we're going to be in the middle of Worthy. So I think just like we're praying every single day for like what type of women is coming. God is already giving us words for that night. And I think like we're going to the throne room for the people that are going to be here and like seeking like, God, who do you have? What do they need to hear? Like, tell us what you are saying to them and let us be your voice for that night. Anybody else? You have a word for Worthy already?
I do. And it's I'm just kind of talking about our words from last year. But we were at youth camp this year, and I'm new to the words of knowledge. Like again, it's like, Lord, are you sure? Like, so, but at youth camp this year, like I really felt after that the Lord was telling me that there's going to be a woman here that's been told repeatedly, like, you are nothing, you mean nothing, no one will love you, no one will care for you, like you are nothing, basically. And I've been there. And so for me, it was like, I know that feeling, and I know that I'm praying and hoping that whoever that's for, that they come and they're here and they know that even anyone in this world can tell you that you don't mean anything. You're not worthy. You're not loved. I pray that when they come, they leave and they feel the love from Jesus Christ, because that's the only love I want.
Yes. Yeah.
So
you were at youth camp,
yes,
and because they did words at youth camp,
they did words at youth camp.
but you got a word for worthy. I think
did.
that just shows like how mature you actually are.
Yeah.
And to know like, oh, this is not a word for now. This is a word for my worthy girl that's coming, you know?
Yeah.
That's good. That's so
I
good.
also think that's so beautiful that like God is already giving women of our dream team words for worthy, and not just like right before, like the night of, like he is already like in the details.
Yeah.
And it started, you had a word at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
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 So
Yeah.
he's
That was so
been
good.
picking every woman out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, and I see like every woman that registers, like it comes across my email, and I don't click on all of them. Like I don't have time to click on all of them, thankfully. But there's been a few that like I have stopped and specifically prayed for that person to like, thank you, God. They made a choice to know their worth, and it's just so cool. Like, but then I also like sometimes I'm burdened for that person, like, and I don't even know who they are, you know. And I think
Just a name.
yeah, and that's
But not to
God's
him.
heart. I think that's how
He
I
knows
feel
them
God's heart.
personally.
Yeah,
That's true.
He wants to know, and He is grateful that they are coming to grow their relationship with Him.
Yeah.
But
I think sometimes, you know, I'm so glad that you get to see those names specifically because, you know, kind of like life, you're kind of grouped into like girls, women, but it's like you see those specific names and like you have been prayed for, like you have been.
yeah, and we have
And
a prayer
so-
team that is
yeah.
praying over
And so it's
each
not just like-
individual one.
You have specifically been prayed for, not just the group of like, yes, as a whole, of course, we're praying for everybody, but like you specifically, your name has been said and seen. And so like, if you don't think this is for you, like it's for you because we've prayed for you. So I think that's just sometimes good to hear is like, it's you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Even when you feel like you're not
Come on.
being thought about, like you are being thought about.
Yeah.
So
You think you're forgotten? You're
If
not.
You're feeling that nudge,
You're not.
Just
Yeah.
come on.
Yep.
yeah.
And I guess if you haven't been invited, here's your
You're
invite.
invited.
I'm inviting
Get
you.
here. Get here.
Get it.
So, girls, what are you expecting out of Worthy 24? Set apart.
Ooh.
Set apart. That that theme. I found the scripture. Like I remember just like reading, and I found the scripture out of Deuteronomy, where it says, Deuteronomy 14:2, you have been set apart as holy to the Lord your God. And he has chosen you from all the nations of the earth to be his own special treasure. And it's just like, shoot,
His own. We
his
are.
own, his own
Everybody's
special.
his own.
That's good. Yeah. I love that. And that, like, I got that, and I texted Jonathan, and I said, this is it. This is, like, we are set apart.
Yep.
Like, we are set apart to be his treasure, his own treasure. And I think I then just began praying about it, and I'm not a seer, and so this was like kind of like, Lord, is this you? But I remember seeing like I got like this vision as I was praying, and it was like this world is like this barren like wasteland, and it was just like full of thorns. And I think those thorns kind of represented like everything around us, the chaos, the just all the worldly things that are around us that we are in. And in my like vision, I saw like this like white rose coming up of just like, he will bring us up. He will rise us up to be his own special treasure, to be this white rose. And in that vision, like I see this white rose standing, and then in my vision, this sounds like so crazy, but in my vision, I'm starting to see like the thorns starting to kind of move. And it was because they were being like moved apart for other roses. And like, we are the rose. We are the rose. And then as we rise up, other women, other worthy girls will rise up with us and start to move aside the worldly things. And that's kind of like, we're set apart to be his treasure and to be that white rose, to stand out among the thorns. So that's kind of like the vision behind like set apart. But what are you guys most excited about?
I think I'm most excited to see like all the women that come and to hear like what like their testimony is going to be like afterwards, like the breakthroughs that are going to happen, and just to also connect with like other women, like where they came from, why they're here, like their story.
I'm excited to love on some ladies. So if you need a hug that night, come find me. I'm a hugger. And I hope God gives me the words. I know he will. I hope he always does. But just to speak some love into some ladies that need it. And I'm just excited to see their pretty faces.
Their worthy faces.
They're worthy. I think for me, I'm excited to just, we've been talking about the words of knowledge, and I think just to hear all the things, like, you may not think somebody's going through something, but to hear it said by somebody else, and you're like, my friend was going through that and I had no idea. But to see them come out of that, like, that's what I'm most excited about. But I'm also excited about this painting because I don't, like, to me, like, when you were talking about it, like, I was just like, okay, she's going to paint the scene, I guess. Having little trees. But like,
Girls, there's a fun little hidden secret in that painting.
Well, like, I want to, like, we get to see it in real life, but like to see it behind somebody else's eyes that's literally painting the picture for what this worthy conference is about. Like, I'm excited to see that, like, just to see the picture from somebody else's perspective.
Yeah, it's gonna be so good.
What about you?
I always think of, like, in any of the big events that we have, I always think of the parking lot, because I truly think, like, the moment that a woman pulls in, like, this is like holy ground. Like, and I want her in every little detail. And I know I like talk about this a lot. Like, I want every little detail to be thought about, and I want it to be prayed over. And I think it starts when you get in the car to drive here. And like I'm excited for them to pull in. Like, I'm so excited for them to pull in, because they could have gone anywhere on a Friday night, but they chose here. They chose to find their worth. I don't know. I've just always, even like this last year, we had an Easter egg hunt, and I was just so like we had cars like lined up, and I'm like, Lord, this is so a vision that you have given us. Like, and for our yard to be full, like, that was like prophesied over our church, and like for it to like see happen. And I just think, like, every time we have, a large event or like something here, it's just like, that was prophesied. Like, this is what you have for our church. You have for this time in ministry. And it's just like, we're doing the right things. And I think that's just even more confirmation. But also, like, I'm super excited, like, for the night itself. But then I remember last year, all the testimonies that were coming in after. Like, it wasn't just that night, wasn't just that next day. It was even weeks after of just like, this is what happened at Worthy. And like, for some of the girls, like, to comment on different things, like, it was so good. Like, last year it was so good. You have to come. And like, girls I don't even know. And it's just like, that's God. Like, that is God. That God did it all last year. And so, and it's just so cool to, be a part of that and be the hands that he's using in that. So
Yeah.
I think the tip for the parking lot that would probably make the world of a difference. Me and Ash could dress up as hot dogs
Oh, for
with
sure.
spinny signs.
For sure.
I think that's probably
Yeah.
probably what you're
you
looking
need
for.
to start practicing
Let's
those
see.
spinning signs.
Hot dog came into my mind.
Well,
I
you could
almost
do
thought
a
like a banana, but
charcuterie,
then-
a charcuterie little
What are
Raven.
those called?
How do you say it?
Don't ask.
Don't ask.
Wait,
Char-
how do you say it?
Shar board. Just a couple ideas.
No, so that's what you can dress up as because we're gonna have charcuterie boards.
A what?
Ooh.
Charcuterie board. Okay.
Yummy food.
A piece of salami.
Oh gosh.
That's too funny. Anything else you girls are excited about?
I just
What
think
did you
everybody's
work-
going to leave changed.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
Encouraged and
Yeah.
loved.
Yeah, they're all going to
Yeah.
know they're loved,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. And how worthy they are.
including
Yes.
us. We're going to be changed because
Oh,
we
for sure.
love on ladies.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Even last year, like in the moment, I'm like, thank you, God. They're like, this is like it was just so eye opening on how big God actually is. And I think like I thought it went great last year.
Yeah.
We had like 415 or something women show up, and I remember I was standing outside of Debbie's little like book signing thing, and she pulled me to the side and she said, "You need to plan for 800 next year.
Mm.
Like you need to plan for 800." And I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready. I'm ready for 800. I'm like, we're gonna have to rent some chairs. So we are gonna rent some chairs.
Yes,
So
800 ladies.
Yeah.
We still have a spot
Get
for
signed
you.
up.
Yes. Yes.
I guess we're wrapping up, babe.
He's asleep.
Are you You're crying?
Yeah. He says yeah.
Hot dog comment.
You're so cute, babe.
You guys wearing hot dog suits and Kayla teaching us toe touches.
Yes. I can teach toe touches. I better not wear super tight pants that night though.
Stretch your pants.
I'll watch.
You never know what
do
I
your
will do
stretches.
on
For you.
stage. Like sometimes then I like rewatch certain things. I'm like, oh my gosh, why did I do that? But when it hits me, I'm doing it.
I mean, you did say you were going to cartwheel.
Yes, across the stage.
Don't wear a dress, girl.
On
Okay,
stage,
cartwheel.
you get it.
Okay, I better make sure whatever.
You're
Don't rip
limber.
my sleeves out. Maybe
Get
that'll
like
be
an
my show.
80s power suit.
No, I won't have rip away sleeves.
This is fun.
There's a fly. It's trying to land on
Karate
us.
chop it out.
That's too funny.
Even the flies are welcome because they're so worthy.
Ooh, we might have a bug spray for you though. No. Okay, so girl, you need to show up for Worthy 24 Set Apart. September 20th. Doors open at 5:00. We're gonna have merch. We didn't even talk about the merch.
yeah.
I'm excited. You got a
we're
little
gonna
bit
have
of that
it be
drip
good.
on right now, right?
Oh, don't tell. Okay,
Oh,
fine.
okay,
There's this really cool
okay.
necklace.
Sorry.
It's like the bubble letters.
That's
Maybe
cute.
maybe you can like bring this big later.
Mm,
It's gonna be so. There's gonna be so much cool merch.
I don't even have a cart yet, and it's already in my cart.
You're too funny. You're
That's
too
right.
funny. So definitely, girls, get your tickets.
Yes. Buy
it's
your
gonna be-
sister's, grandma's
Don't wait till the
cousins,
last minute.
sisters.
Do it.
tickets. Anybody.
Yes, do it. Do it. So we have Meredith Ryburn from Cornerstone Church coming. She's so good. So good. And then, of course, Havilah Cunnington is
She's
coming.
so down to earth. Everybody is going to love her.
Yes.
Mhm.
That's
She
what I'm
just
saying. I'm
loves
like,
on women.
I, think
love
she,
that about
I think
her.
I know her. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
And you're just like,
Yes.
hey, bestie.
When I saw
Yeah.
her speak at a conference, she just went down among the women and we're just praying over them.
I love
It's
that.
just so personal.
I love that.
Love that too.
That's so good. So good. So Havilah's coming. Heather Gillion, like I said, is coming back to paint for us. She'll have a booth in the lobby as well.
KB will be there.
Well, I mean,
KB. You're
gonna be
I'll
there.
be hosting.
Kayla Barlow.
Yeah, I'll be here.
So come
I'll
to
be
see
here.
her.
And then Ashley Wilhite is going to be here. She's author of Favored. She is one of my friends who actually went through Havilah's author school.
Oh,
That
cool.
is awesome.
So she
Exciting.
just released her book like this last month, or maybe in August. And so she's gonna come. She is so much fun. Like she's so much fun. So she's gonna share a little bit just about her book and have a book signing here, so you get to meet her as well. So
we have a full night.
Yeah.
Yes.
oh my
Fun.
gosh,
Yes.
yeah.
gonna
I think
be
last
so
year I was
fun.
like, oh, we'll end at 9, maybe like
Mm-hmm.
10.
It's okay.
I think it was
ladies.
later
Put
than
a
that.
time
It's
limit
okay.
on
It's
God.
One
One
night.
I mean,
No,
I
we
got
can't.
this.
No, you can't.
Love it. Can't put a time limit on God. You heard it here. Okay, so if you haven't gotten your ticket, go to worthyconference.org and use the code. Here's the code, girls. Girl, you are so worthy to get $10 off your ticket. $10 off your ticket. So, girl, you are so worthy.
That's right.
We'll get that $10 off. Or if you have a group coming, you already get $10 off your ticket. But just for watching this podcast, you will get an additional $5. So $15 off your group rate ticket.
Hey.
So
Love
do
me a
that.
sale.
Your code is group. You are so worthy.
Group.
So
You are so
worthy.
worthy.
So worthy.
Group. You're so worthy. You're so worthy. You're so worthy.
That's too funny. All right, we can't
Like
wait to
Oprah.
see you at Worthy Conference 2024. Woo!
Yes.
Girl,
You are so worthy.